Good morning, and welcome to Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace. Welcome to the soul of Sunday. We are Unitarian Universalists. Ours is a historic faith with a progressive theology. We affirm the worth and dignity of every person, and that we are all deeply interconnected. We are bound to one another not by creed, but by covenant. And we are called to love with open minds, open hearts, and open hands. Whoever you are, those of all nations, all creeds, all colors, all kinds of love, you are welcome here. My name is Reverend Joanna Lubkin, and I've been a member at Arlington Street since 2011, and I serve as the interim minister at Theodore Parker Church in nearby West Roxbury. I'm up here this morning with service dog Sully, who has melted into the floor of the pulpit, but you might see him later on. Today's service focuses on our relationship with our bodies. So we call ourselves to worship with a song that I wrote specifically for communal singing. Works really only where two or more people are gathered, or where you have a loop pedal. So I'm gonna invite Reese to come on up and help me with it here. So those gallant, warm few of you who are here in person, invite you to join in as we go. The lyrics are in the order of service. Starts with, "May I greet my body as a friend." I'll sing it through once, and then I'll sing a line and have you sing it back to me. So it goes like this. May I greet my body as a friend, love and tend my body as a friend. May I greet my body as a friend, love and tend my body as a friend. So I'll sing a line, and then y'all sing it back to me along with Reese. May I greet my body as a friend.
May I greet my body as a friend.
Love and tend my body as a friend.
Love and tend my body as a friend.
May I greet my body as a friend.
May I greet my body as a friend.
Love and tend my body as a friend.
Love and tend my body as a friend.
Great, so we'll sing that through all together a couple of times, and once it sounds like you got it, I'm gonna add in a second part. That's the "Be Well, Sweet Friend" that's in your order of service. You're welcome to add in that if you feel like it, but let's join in together. May I greet.
May I greet my body as a friend. Love and tend my body as a friend. May I greet my body as a friend. Love and tend my body as a friend. May I greet my body as a friend. Love and tend my body as a friend. May I greet my body as a friend. Love and tend my body as a friend.
Keep it up.
May I greet my body as a friend. Love and tend my body as a friend. May I greet my body as a friend. Love and tend my body as a friend. May I greet my body as a friend. Love and tend my body as a friend. May I greet my body as a friend. Love and tend my body as a friend.
One more time.
May I greet my body as a friend. Love and tend my body as a friend. May I greet my body as a friend. Love and tend my body as a friend.
Amen. Thank you, Reese. With that, we light our flaming chalice, the symbol of Unitarian Universalism, with these words from Reverend Sharon Wiley. We speak so often of brokenness in religious life. Let us speak today of wholeness. You are welcome here, all of you, every part of you beautiful, just the way you are. Here, you do not need to be something more or something less. No holding back, no hiding, no exerting yourself, no trying to do or be more. You have inherent worth and dignity. Nothing to prove here. Nothing to prove to me or to the children or to anyone. You don't have to try and be witty or more quiet or more outgoing. You are beautiful. Every part of you beautiful, just the way you are. You do not need to change anything about yourself to be welcome here. Your skin, your hair, your belly, your limbs, your face, all beautiful, just the way they are. You are extraordinary, each and every one of you, different from each, and beautiful in your own beautiful way. Breathtaking. Let us worship together.
We acknowledge the Arlington Street Church occupies the ancestral homeland of the Massachusetts. By making this land acknowledgement, we recognize, honor, and affirm the sovereignty of the First Nations people. Finally, for those of you who are new to Arlington Street, a very special welcome to you. Please go to ascboston.org and sign up for Snapshot, our electronic newsletter, and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Whether you've been coming here for years or today is your first time at Arlington Street, welcome home. If you haven't already downloaded today's order of service, it's available on the chat and in the homepage at ascboston.org. For our guests here in the sanctuary, there's printed copies at the great doors. As we begin our greetings, I invite the Zoomers and those here in the sanctuary with a device handy to please say hello in the chat and tell us where you're zooming in from today. And now, Jen is going to turn the camera on the incarnate congregation as we wave and smize at each other, as well as our friends in the Zoom room, and you all in the Zoom room can wave and smize back. Hello, friends. Let's all engage that Arlington Street spirit of welcome that transcends physical distance as we greet one another heart to heart. Our opening hymn is 326, Let All the Beauty We Have Known, which is set to an English folk song arranged by renowned British musician Ralph Vaughan Williams. Its lyrics were written by 20th century UU minister Dana McLean Greeley, who served congregations in New Hampshire and Massachusetts, including here at Arlington Street Church, and was president of the American Unitarian Association and then the newly formed Unitarian Universalist Association. We invite you to rise in body, rise in spirit, or raise your voice in this hymn in celebration of beauty.
Let all the beauty we have known illuminate our hearts and minds. Rejoice in wonders daily shown, in faith and joy and love that binds. We celebrate with singing hearts the loveliness of sky and earth, the inspiration of the arts, the miracle of every birth. Life's music and its poetry surround and bless us through our days. For these we sing in harmony, together giving thanks and praise. Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
It is now time for our treasured ritual of sharing community candles of sorrow and joy. These candles were submitted on our website by the Friday evening deadline. If you didn't submit your candle and have a joy or sorrow to share this morning, please wait until the third candle is lit, the silent candle, and then type your joy or sorrow in the chat. Zoomers are invited to light silent candles at home. Those in the sanctuary are invited to light a silent candle at the table up front to the right of the Gleason podium. In addition to sharing our sorrows and joys this morning, let's reach out to one another in the weeks ahead, staying connected. May these times remind us of how very special this beloved community is. We need one another. Whether together or apart, may we stay very close. And now, in the spirit of invocation, let's join in singing Sanctuary. The words are printed in your order of service and in the chat.
Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
Some of us come today with heavy hearts. We open our hearts to you.
An anonymous candle of sorrow for John on the passing of his sister. May comfort surround him and his family. A final candle of sorrow from the ASC congregation for the people of Ukraine and those impacted by food insecurity in Middle East, North Africa, and made worse by the ongoing war.
Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
And some of us come today in joy. We share your joy.
A candle of joy from Keith Perrin and Bill Briggs. Friday, July 29 would have been my husband's mother's 100th birthday. We are in upstate New York. Bill planned a small gathering of his siblings and partners and other relatives to celebrate an amazing woman who had much too short a time on this planet. She passed at 90 years old, and who brought wonderful people into the world. Flora Briggs Presente.
Present.
A final candle of joy from Don Richter. This is a unique joy. I discovered who created the Progress Pride flag. It has the rainbow supplemented with a triangle at the hoist to honor Black and brown people, blue and pink for trans people, and white. The designer is Daniel Cesar, who uses my pronoun.
Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Open my heart to be a sanctuary, all made holy, loved and true. With thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
For all of the sorrows and all of the joys that we hold in our hearts, we light a silent candle to remember and to rejoice. May the peace of this sanctuary enter into our hearts as we share a quiet moment together, breathing our prayers for ourselves, for one another, for our country, and for the world. Amen.
Let's now join in saying together the affirmation and covenant of this beloved spiritual community. The words are printed in your order of service and in the chat. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and service is our gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to speak our truths in love, and to help one another.
El amor es el espíritu de nuestra congregación y el servicio es nuestro regalo. Esto es a lo que nos comprometemos, convivir en paz, hablar nuestras verdades con amor y ayudarnos los unos a los otros.
I invite us now to center our hearts with hymn 1053, How Could Anyone, by Libby Rodericks. Written in 1988, this simple song spread quickly and widely to become an internationally beloved anthem of hope and healing, deeply touching the hearts of hundreds of thousands of people around the world. It has been used to bring inspiration and affirmation to people struggling with every imaginable challenge and to celebrate the beauty of human beings everywhere. AIDS orphans in Zambia keeping their spirits high, Latina mothers initiating their daughters into adulthood, gay activists affirming their inherent worth, children with disabilities at summer camp honoring their wholeness, Japanese women and girls recovering from eating disorders, men in prison making peace with their pasts. Thousands have made this their own and used it to inspire powerful action on behalf of our shared community.
How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul.
You may be seated. As we begin our sermon, just a content warning heads up that one of the stories about embodiment that I'll be sharing mentions sex, which folks might not be expecting to hear from the pulpit. Nothing explicit, but young or sensitive ears are welcome to take a break from the service if you'd like. Earlier this summer, my housemate and I fixated on a new TV show we were watching together. Lizzo's Watch Out for the Big Girls, girls spelled Grrrls. If you don't know of Lizzo, she is a Grammy-winning Black singer, rapper, and classically trained flautist with a brand new album out, whose music talks about race, sexuality, and body confidence. In the face of a lot of cruelly fat-phobic and racist comments on social media, she has continued to be bold, loud, and sexy. On her unscripted reality TV show, Lizzo is auditioning up-and-coming plus-size dancers for her upcoming tour. These dancers, collectively called Lizzo's Big Girls, are primarily women of color, and the person I rooted for throughout the season is incredible trans women, and they are all amazing athletes and artists. I was a dancer up through college, and I have never seen mainstream representation like this. When Lizzo and her big girls are dancing, I cannot take my eyes off the screen. They are breathtakingly beautiful and powerful. As I've been talking about the show to friends, I notice myself describing these dancers as unabashedly, unapologetically sexy. And at some point it hit me. When did we absorb the idea that bodies of any size or color are things to be abashed or apologetic about? Sonia Renee Taylor is a poet who in the summer of 2010 was in Knoxville, Tennessee to compete with her team in a slam poetry competition. Sonia was in a hotel room with her teammate, getting ready for this competition, when she uttered the words, "Your body is not an apology," for the first time. A phrase that would become a catalyst for the body positivity movement, and then the title of her book. And this is one of those books where I have underlining on every page that I've read. Sonia's teammate, Natasha, was a 30-something-year-old living with cerebral palsy, and she was fearful that she might be pregnant. All of life was up in the air for Natasha, but she was abundantly clear that she had no desire to have a baby, and not with the person who had been her occasional fling. Now, she and Sonia had a history of having honest and complex conversations with each other, and Sonia had a background in sexual health and public health service. So she asked her friend why she had chosen not to use contraception with this casual partner. Natasha responded with her truth, saying, "My disability makes sex hard enough already. I just didn't feel like it was okay to make a big deal about using contraception." Social researcher and expert on shame and vulnerability, Brené Brown, says, "If we can share our story with someone who responds with empathy and understanding, shame cannot survive." About this moment with her teammate, Sonia writes, "I understood the truth that Natasha was sharing. Her words pricked some painful underbelly of knowing in my own body." Sonia continued, "My entire being rang in resonance. A reel of memories scrolled through my minds of all of the ways I told the world that I was sorry for having this wrong, bad body. This body that is female, that is Black, that is middle-aged and aging, that is fat and bald and has mental illness." It was from this deep cave of mutual vulnerability that the words spilled out of Sonia. She said, "Natasha, your body is not an apology. It is not something you give to someone to say, 'Sorry for my disability.'" Natasha began to weep, and for a few minutes, Sonia just held her maybe pregnant friend as she contemplated the fullness of what those words meant for her life and her body. There are times when our unflinching honesty, vulnerability, and empathy will create a transformative portal, an opening to a completely new way of living. Such a portal was created that summer evening in Tennessee because as the words escaped Sonia's lips, some part of them remained stuck inside her. The words that Sonia said to Natasha in that hotel room were as much for Sonia as they were for her friend. She was also telling herself, "Sonia, your body is not an apology." Beloveds, I am here today to tell you, your body is not an apology. Every body is a good body, inherently worthy of respect and dignity. Despite what society, religion, our families of origin, or the media may have taught us, there is no wrong way to have a body. There are a million different ways I could go with this sermon. I could talk about the incredible movements that are helping people accept and love their bodies as they are. And there's so many. There's the body positivity movement, or body liberation, or body acceptance, or body neutrality, or self-love. Or as Sonia Renee Taylor describes it, radical self-love, which has a special theological resonance for me. Radical self-love is our inherent state of being worthy and being enough. It is the unobstructive access to our highest selves. So let's start there. The theological statement that all bodies are good bodies. It's a good starting place. Let's work on weeding out body shame from our own self-talk, from our conversations with each other, from the way that we bring up the children in our lives. And look, it's hard, and it's pervasive. The media and our consumerist culture have worked really hard to make quite a lot of money on us thinking our bodies are not blank enough or are too blank. When we talk about anything involving weight or size, the refrain often comes up that somebody is just worried about so-and-so's health. There's a lot that I want to say about that, none of which I'm an expert on. So I'll just say that A, health is not synonymous with weight or size. And B, health is not an achievable status for everyone. If you want to learn more about these concepts, I invite you to look up the Health at Every Size movement to learn more. All of this matters. Lest these concepts be written off or belittled as being about not hurting sensitive people's feelings, that book, The Body is Not an Apology, offers this reflection that our beliefs about bodies disproportionately impact those whose race, gender, sexual orientation, ability, and age deviate from our default notions. The further you are from default, the greater the impact. We are all affected, but not equally. Sonia Renee Taylor expands on this, writing, "Our work must be radical if we are to combat the consistent inundation of toxic media messages, laws, and regulations seeping body shame and body-based oppression into every aspect of our society. Inequity in our government and in our healthcare systems, manipulation in our media, no matter the structure under examination, ultimately, each of us bears the personal, social, and political burden of a widespread and deeply troubling relationship with our bodies. The results of these centuries of infusing body shame into every sector of public and private life include gross inequality and disenfranchisement across social experiences, poor public health outcomes, and unjust legislation, especially impacting female, queer, and trans bodies. There's good news. The good news is that if body shame is something that we can learn, that means it's something that we can unlearn. Babies are not born with body shame. If you've ever watched a baby, they just go, "Ooh, a foot, that's neat. Can I put it in my mouth?" Hold on to that spirit, because when did each of us learn to be ashamed of different parts of our body, or our skin tone, or our abilities, or our age? When were we taught that people of your gender don't blank? We can unlearn it. Because if you ascribe to a spiritual belief that each person was made in the image of the divine, or that each person has inherent worth and dignity, then we're called to recognize the divine and goodness in every body, of every shape, size, gender orientation, skin tone, age, or ability. The more that each of us unpacks our own body experience, names it, and empowers ourselves to accept and love our bodies, the more that other people have permission to do the same. In her book called Divining the Body, author and speaker Jan Phillips writes, "It is through our stories that we begin to name ourselves, to say who we are under all of the social trappings, and to emerge from those trappings like a butterfly from a chrysalis. We are midwives," Phillips says, in a way, "to each other's rebirth, an attempt to undo the damage that we've sustained by living in a culture that thrives on our self-hatred. It is a sanctification of our human bodies, a journey of awe and reverence." I'll share a story that I found of one young adult coming to emerge from that chrysalis, to undo those social trappings that they had learned about beauty. And I'm aware that most of the protagonists in these stories are on the younger end of the spectrum, but I know this is true throughout the age spectrum, and aging is its own thing. This story comes by way of an organization called The Body Positive, which is a nonprofit organization that teaches people to listen to their bodies in order to learn and thrive. Their ultimate goal is to end the harmful consequences of negative body image, especially in teens and young adults, including eating disorders, depression, anxiety, self-harm, substance abuse, and relationship violence. The Body Positive has been training educators and student leaders for more than 20 years to create body positive programs in their schools and communities. One of their former interns shared this reflection anonymously on their website. This anonymous blogger wrote, "At the age of 14, I really thought I was open-minded about beauty, but the appreciation was totally cerebral. I never actually felt the beauty in different sorts of bodies, never experienced it with my senses. Just before graduating high school," this author said, "I began interning with The Body Positive. I was going through what seemed like a million changes at the time, and needing to get an outlet for my confusion, I got into visual art. I drew pastel landscapes of the Mono Lake Basin Desert, created twisting patterns in the Stinson Beach sand, and made a variety of abstract watercolor paintings in my bed at night. The more weeks I spent with the self-loving, diversely bodied individuals of the organization, The Body Positive, the more I grew to see them as works of natural art. And I examined them with the same close attention I gave to patterned sticks and to the tender ridges on the inside walls of a bell pepper." The anonymous young adult continues, "As a kid, I liked to soften my gaze completely until my eyes lost focus and things became abstract, Rothko-esque blobs, no longer defined by their everyday purposes. At 17, I discovered that by letting my mind relax in the same way, I could stop measuring beauty by how closely somebody fit the ideal and start going by pure visual intrigue. There were so many enticing things that I had completely dismissed. Aside from their fascinating appearances, I found culturally shamed body parts especially beautiful because of what they represented. Wrinkles, for instance, are unique records of every expression over one's life, delicately crinkling and creasing into deep, firm lines. My mother expresses embarrassment about the loose flesh of her belly, but it is a product of all of the stretching that allowed her to give birth to me. The squishy softness, a symbol of the strength and flexibility that parenthood requires. My best friend's scars are another wonder because they show the body's amazing ability to heal, if only partially at times. My great uncle's age spots show a long existence of growing and learning, having access to memories of a time that I know I can never touch. And noticing these parts on others makes me understand the true beauty in what I used to call my flaws. I love my funny ears that stick out, the intensity of my facial expressions, my straight hips and subtle curves, the fast-growing hair under my arms, and my short legs. The writer concludes, "Like everyone, I am a natural wonder, deserving of awe. And it is so much more fun to live with this knowledge because I can actually experience the loveliness of those around me rather than acknowledging it vaguely, but with my head turned away. I see truly exciting things, and others feel delighted when I tell them what I see. We are breathtakingly beautiful when we let ourselves be." every body is a good body, inherently worthy of respect and dignity. One more reflection that I want to share from my colleague, Reverend Casey Kavichnaka-Slack, who describes themselves as a UU pagan queer femme activist who has been involved in creating queer and trans community spaces, as well as a podcast called Bad Fat Broads. And I gotta say, I love every single one of these descriptors. In a chapel service at Star King School for the Ministry when they were still in seminary, Reverend Casey shared this reflection with their classmates. They wrote, "We talk a lot in our communities about how to be welcoming to folks from all walks of life, how to feel like a home for people who have never been home, how to be safe for people so commonly hurt by unsafe culture. And I'm so glad that we do this. But how often do we talk about coming home to ourselves? I know that for me," Casey said, "it's so much easier to be open and accepting and loving toward other people." They continue, "I have almost endless space in my heart for other people's flaws, perceived or otherwise. I love being with people who have different experiences than I do. I love what I see in others the same way I love flowers. The things that other people might find imperfect, I find beautiful. I'm grateful for their variety. And I'm the first to push back when a friend or acquaintance is being hard on themselves. I think it's my job to show up for my people in their struggles. And then sometimes," Casey says, "I don't think any of that stuff actually applies to me. I've spent years unlearning internalized fat phobia, biphobia, femphobia, and stigmatization of mental health issues, and still, some days I wake up and I just wish I could be normal, whatever that is. Some days this body and this life feel like too much. Some days I want a break from being me." I bet we've all had those days. We all have these things, the stuff that we hide as best we can and hope that nobody notices. The stuff that we were taught was wrong about us, that would make people not like us or not love us. We are fat and queer and trans and black and brown. We're people who are chronically ill and who experience mental health problems and who interact with the world in a way different from the norm. We are people with bodies and lives that we're supposed to believe are wrong. We're told to hide or disappear, to blend the best we can, to kill off pieces of ourselves so that someone else may think we're okay. But we are okay. We're better than okay. We're beautiful. Casey invokes Psalm 139, that we are all fearfully and wonderfully made. We are stardust. We are the universe experiencing itself. We are each of us a miracle. Casey concludes with this invitation, which I share with you. Find something that reminds you of you. A way to remember on days that are hard. Listen to your favorite music, put on your favorite outfit, get up and dance. Love yourself like you love the world. Love yourself like you love God, if that's a thing you do. Be brave when you can. Be you loudly and fiercely. Make space in the world for someone like you. And know that your community has got your back. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? Your beauty is abundant. Your worth is abundant. You matter so much. And if anyone tries to tell you otherwise, that you don't, that you're not. Quote back at them the poet Saul Williams, who wrote, "Never question who I am. God knows, and I know God personally. In fact, she lets me call her me." Beloveds, your body is not an apology. Every body is a good body, inherently worthy of respect and dignity. Despite what society, or religion, our families of origin, or the media may have taught us, there is no wrong way to have a body. You are beautiful, every part of you beautiful just the way you are. You do not need to change anything about yourself to be welcome here. Your skin, your hair, your belly, your limbs, your face, all beautiful just the way they are. You are extraordinary, each and every one of you, different from each and beautiful in your own beautiful way. Breathtaking. So may it be, and amen.
Arlington Street is entirely self-sustaining. It's up to us. And your generosity continues to be astounding. Thank you for your commitment to our staff, our building, and our beloved spiritual community. 2 weeks ago, my wife and I took a week-long vacation to P-Town. We had a fabulous time getting up early to watch the sunrise, swimming in the ocean, walking on the beach, paddleboarding, kayaking, eating delicious food, and relaxing on the beach. Jen is currently missing her 2 p.m. naps already. It was interesting to see how P-Town has changed over the years, and we talked a lot about how important it is to have a safe space like P-Town to our LGBTQ community. We could walk down the street holding hands and just be us without worrying. Even here in Boston, we don't feel we can always do that. There are a few places where we feel this comfortable, but it was a reminder that ASC is one of those safe havens. We are so thankful for our community here at ASC. Please take a moment now to join me in giving to our beloved spiritual community and filling our virtual collection plate. You can mail a check to the church or use the envelopes in the pews, which can be handed to me or to any of our ushers after the service. You can give online by scanning the QR code in the order of service or by going to ascboston.org. Or you can also text your gift to the church by sending a message with the word GIVE, G-I-V-E, to 617-300-0509. Each Sunday, we share a collection plate with a partner in our mission of love, service, justice, and peace. This summer, as always, we're directing our gifts to the Emergency Response Fund. Over the years, we've used this money to support survivors of local emergencies and to help in rescue and rebuilding efforts following natural and unnatural disasters nationally and around the world. Greater Boston, as well as New Orleans, Houston, Puerto Rico, Indonesia, Sri Lanka, India, Nepal, Thailand, Haiti, the Philippines, Afghanistan, and the Ukraine. Thank you for your generosity. There are weekly gatherings in the Zoom room for loving kindness, meditation, poetry, yoga, and writing. Every Wednesday, including throughout the summer, Rev Kim and Rev Beth will host a tea party with a conversational prompt. It's a lot of fun. Information and Zoom room links are at ascboston.org. You don't have to be a member, you don't have to turn your video on, or talk if you don't want to, and they're all free. All are always welcome. Following the service, everyone is welcome to join the virtual coffee hour. If you'd like to participate, please answer yes to the breakout room invitation that will appear on your screen. Joanna and I will be out front. If you're here in person, please come say hello after virtual coffee hour. Thanks to all of you who joined in today's service and to all who made it possible. Remember, we're all in this together.
Our closing hymn today is number 118 in your gray hymnals, This Little Light of Mine, which comes to us from African American traditions. It was likely composed in the early 20th century as a gospel song, though it was also a popular civil rights song. Its lyrics may reference Jesus' remarks to his followers from Luke chapter 11, verse 33, in which Jesus remarks that no person who lights a candle hides it someplace secret. They put it in a candlestick so that those who enter may see light. Our invitation today then is to share the light we have with each other, allowing ourselves to be unapologetically radiant. So I invite you to rise in body, in spirit, and or in voice as we sing together, This Little Light of Mine.
I would also like to add that after the third verse, we're going to repeat the first verse with gusto and modulate it up a half step. So be ready. Sing your hearts out. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world, oh, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, oh, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Beautiful. Before our benediction, I invite those of you who are in the Zoom room to put yourselves on gallery. Please reach out your hands, touch the sides of your little rectangle. Those of you in the sanctuary, I invite you to raise your hands, palms out. Let's send loving kindness to the people on your left and the people on your right, and the people to the left of them and on the right of them. Send out love into this beloved spiritual community and feel it coming back to you. Love is the spirit of this congregation. And now for our benediction, I invite you to either put your hands over your hearts in Namaste, I bow to the divine in you, or just one over the other. Our words of benediction today are from Reverend Susan Carlson. We leave blessed by our connections to one another and to the spirit of life. Walk or travel lightly that you see the life that is below you. Spread your arms as if you had wings and could dance through the air. Feel the joy of the breath in your lungs and the fire in your heart. live to love, and be a blessing on this earth. Let us keep the faith, beloveds, and pass it on. The service begins when the service ends. Go in peace. Amen.
Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. For your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. Your divine, my divine. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. For your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. Your divine, my divine.
Please visit ascboston.org for more information about this historic Unitarian Universalist congregation. Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace.